I still remember the weight of that cardboard box in my hands the day I sealed it shut. My fingers were trembling so badly I could barely press the tape down. It was just an ordinary brown box, the kind you get from the post office for a few dollars. But inside, it was everything I had carried for years. Every silent tear, every broken promise, every moment I had been invisible in my own family. I never thought one mailed package could change everything, but it did. And it started with me finally deciding I couldn't be their free labor anymore. My name doesn't matter as much as the story I'm about to tell you. I was 28 when it all came to a head, living in the same house I grew up in, the reliable older daughter who never said no. Mom and Dad had always leaned on me, especially after Dad's health started failing. My younger brother, the golden child who could do no wrong, and my little sister, the spoiled baby of the family, both moved out but still expected me to keep the home running perfectly. I woke up every single morning at 5:30, made breakfast for whoever was around, packed lunches, cleaned the kitchen until it sparkled, then headed to my own office job where I stared at spreadsheets until evening. When I got home, the real work began. Dinner, laundry, grocery runs, fixing whatever broke. They called it helping the family. I called it slowly disappearing. I loved them. That's what makes this hurt so much even now. I truly believed that if I gave enough, they would one day see me. They'd say thank you and mean it. They'd ask how I was doing instead of just handing me another list of chores. But love in my family came with conditions, and the condition was that I stayed silent and useful. I remember one evening, after I had cooked a full feast for 10 relatives who dropped by unannounced, my back aching and my feet swollen, my brother patted my shoulder and said, "You're the best, sis. What would we do without you?" My sister laughed from the couch and added, "Yeah, you're like our built-in maid." They thought it was funny. I smiled because that's what I always did. Inside, something cracked a little deeper. The turning point came slowly, like a storm you feel in the air before you see the clouds. I started noticing the way they talked when they thought I wasn't listening. I'd be folding clothes in the next room and hear my brother on the phone telling his friends how lucky he was that I handled everything so he could focus on his career. My sister would complain to Mom that I was too sensitive when I asked for one weekend off. Even Mom and Dad, in quiet moments, would say things like, "She's always been the strong one. She doesn't need much." Those words carved themselves into my heart. I began keeping a small notebook, not out of anger at first, just to remember the truth when the guilt tried to swallow me whole. I wrote down dates, conversations, the promises they broke. I printed screenshots from the family group chat, the one where they planned vacations without me because she has to watch the house. I saved emails where they discussed dividing Dad's savings one day, casually noting that I would naturally be the one to care for our parents full time while they split the money. I didn't plan revenge. I swear I didn't. I just wanted to be seen. But the more I carried their secrets in silence, the heavier my own pain became. I started saving money quietly from my job, dreaming of a small apartment where no one would expect me to cook or clean after them. I even allowed myself to imagine a life where I could go on a date without feeling guilty for leaving the dishes. But every time I tried to speak up, they made me feel selfish. "We're family," Mom would say, her eyes soft and pleading. "We take care of each other." What she really meant was, I take care of them. Then came the weekend that broke me completely. It was supposed to be a simple family dinner, but it turned into another marathon of me serving everyone while they relaxed. I had worked a full week, stayed late at the office, and still came home to prep everything. When I finally sat down to eat, exhausted and hoping for one kind word, my sister pushed her plate toward me and said, "Can you warm this up a bit more? It got cold." My brother didn't even look up from the scone. That night, alone in my room, I cried until my chest hurt. And in that moment, staring at the box I had bought earlier that week, I knew I had to do something. Not to hurt them out of hate. I could never hate them. But to finally set myself free. I packed the box with every proof of their words, every hidden truth they thought would stay buried. I added one handwritten letter from me, simple and honest, explaining how their free labor had shattered the girl who only ever wanted to be loved. I mailed it the next morning, addressed to our family home, timed to arrive right before their next big gathering. I had no idea what would happen when they opened it, but I knew one thing for sure. Nothing would ever be the same again.
But what I didn't know that day was how deep the cracks in our family already ran. The months leading up to that mailed box were filled with quiet heartbreaks that piled up until I felt buried alive. I kept showing up, kept smiling, kept cooking and cleaning and sacrificing, because walking away felt impossible. They were my blood. They were supposed to be my safe place. Instead, they became the very thing that taught me how invisible a person can feel in her own home. It started getting worse after Dad's second health scare. The doctors said he needed rest and help with daily things, and Mom turned to me without hesitation. "You're so good at this," she told me one evening while I was changing his bedsheets. "Your brother and sister have their own lives now." I nodded, swallowing the lump in my throat, because arguing would only make me the bad guy. So I took on more. I handled his medications, drove him to appointments, cooked special meals, and still kept my full-time job. My brother would call once a week, ask how Dad was doing, then quickly pivot to, "Hey, can you send me some of that leftover curry?" My sister would breeze in on weekends, hug everyone, post cute family pictures online, and leave her dirty clothes for me to wash. They never offered money for groceries or gas. They never asked if I was tired. They just expected me to keep the machine running. I started to feel like a ghost in my own life. Friends would invite me out, and I'd say no because there was always another load of laundry or another meal to prepare. I missed birthdays, canceled plans, and watched my own dreams shrink smaller and smaller. One night, I sat on the edge of my bed and whispered to myself, "When did I stop mattering?" The answer hurt too much to say out loud. I began noticing every small betrayal in sharper detail, like the time they planned a family trip to the mountains and simply told me, "We'll need you to stay back and watch the house, someone has to." Or the afternoon I overheard my brother on speakerphone telling Dad, "Don't worry, she'll handle everything, she always does." The casual way they said it, like I was furniture, not a person with feelings and a future. The emotional weight became unbearable. I would cry in the car after work, pull myself together before walking through the door, then spend the evening listening to them complain about their stressful days while I quietly scrubbed pots. I started keeping that notebook religiously, not to get even, but to remind myself I wasn't crazy. Every page held another piece of the truth. Printed group chat messages where they joked about how I never complained and how convenient that was, screenshots of my sister telling my brother she didn't want to help with Dad's care because it's too depressing and sis has it covered anyway. Even Mom's private email to Dad where she wrote, "Thank God we have her. I don't know how we'd manage otherwise." Those words destroyed something inside me. I wasn't their daughter anymore. I was their solution. But the real shift happened the night I finally tried to speak up. It was after another long day of chores. I sat them down in the living room and said, my voice shaking, "I love you all, but I'm exhausted. I need some help. I need a break." The silence that followed felt like ice. Mom's eyes filled with tears. "After everything we've done for you?" Dad looked disappointed. My brother rolled his eyes and muttered, "Here we go again." My sister crossed her arms and said, "You act like we're using you. We're family. This is what families do." In that moment, I realized they didn't see me at all. They saw the version of me that made their lives easier, the free labor, the one who never asked for anything back. That night, I stopped crying. Something inside me went quiet and clear. I wasn't angry yet. I was just done carrying their weight alone. I started planning my exit in small ways. I saved every extra dollar. I looked at apartment listings late at night, and I kept adding to that box. Every new screenshot, every new overheard conversation, every new broken promise went inside. I wasn't sure I would ever send it, but having the evidence there gave me strength. It reminded me that the pain was real. Little by little, I began to feel the shift from broken to brave. I started saying no to extra chores. I left dishes in the sink once just to see what would happen. The complaints came fast and loud. "What's gotten into you?" Mom asked. I didn't answer. I just kept packing that box, knowing that the truth inside it was the only thing left that could set me free. I didn't want to destroy my family. I just wanted to stop letting them destroy me. And with every piece of paper I folded into that box, I felt myself getting a little lighter, a little stronger, a little closer to the woman I was meant to become. Until everything changed, the day that box finally arrived. I had moved into my tiny new apartment 2 weeks earlier, telling the family I needed space to figure things out. They called it selfish. I called it survival. I timed the mailing perfectly, so the box would land on their doorstep right before the big monthly family dinner they always held. I pictured them gathered around the table, laughing, eating the food I used to prepare, when the doorbell rang. I wasn't there to see it, but I heard every detail later from a cousin who couldn't believe what unfolded. They opened the box together, thinking it was a surprise gift from me, maybe some homemade treats or old family photos. Instead, they found the truth. Page after page of printed conversations. Screenshots showing my brother and sister planning how to divide Dad's savings while casually deciding I would be the full-time caregiver forever. Messages where my sister called me dramatic for wanting one weekend off. Texts from my brother admitting he only visited when he needed something from me. Even Mom and Dad's private words about how convenient it was to have me there, like I was part of the furniture. And at the very bottom, my handwritten letter. Simple, honest, and full of the pain I had held inside for years. The room went silent at first. Then the storm hit. My brother started yelling at my sister, accusing her of throwing him under the bus in those messages. My sister screamed back that he was the one always talking about inheritance behind everyone's back. Mom broke down crying, asking how could I do this to them. Dad's face turned red as old grudges spilled out. Years of resentment between the siblings, things they had hidden from each other that I had quietly witnessed while scrubbing their floors. Voices rose, accusations flew. Someone knocked over a glass, and no one even moved to clean it. For the first time in their lives, they saw each other clearly, without the filter of me quietly holding everything together. The family I had tried so hard to keep whole turned against each other in minutes. My phone started ringing almost immediately. Missed calls from all of them. Texts begging me to explain, to come fix it, to make it right. I didn't answer a single one. I sat in my quiet apartment, lights low, and for the first time in years, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Peace. Not happiness yet, but a deep, calm relief that I had finally spoken the truth they refused to hear from my voice. In the weeks that followed, the family slowly unraveled. My brother and sister stopped speaking. Mom and Dad argued constantly about whose words had hurt the most. The big family dinner stopped. The group chat went silent. They tried reaching out to me, some with anger, some with tears, but I held my boundaries gently. I told them I loved them, but I couldn't go back to being their free labor. I needed to learn how to be my own person first. Today, I have a life I never thought possible. I go on walks without rushing home to chores. I have friends who ask how I'm doing and actually listen. I even started painting again, something I loved as a child but gave up because there was never time. The pain is still there on quiet nights, but it doesn't control me anymore. I mailed that box not to destroy them, but to save myself. And in doing so, I exposed the truth that had been poisoning us all for years. If there's one thing I've learned from all of this, it's that family isn't about blood or duty or how much you can give without breaking. It's about respect. It's about seeing each other as whole people, not as tools to make life easier. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is stop carrying everyone else's weight, so they finally learn to carry their own. I don't regret the box. I don't regret the pain it caused.
Because on the other side of that shattered family, I finally found the girl I had lost, the one who deserves to be loved without having to earn it through endless service. I'm at peace now, and that, more than anything, is the justice I was always searching for. Thank you for listening to my story. If it touched your heart, share it with someone who needs to feel strong. And remember, sometimes the quietest truth is the loudest revenge.